If you want me to turn this into a series, let me know in comments. Now enjoy. Fire traced the walls and I could hear the screams of the villagers. I tried to yell for them, but it was impossible. Fire. It reached the sky and licked my hands, making me cringe in pain. The smoke curled around me like a witch's gnarled hand. Then a figure emerged, lean and fit, with quick footsteps. It's him. The man had spiky white hair with eyes dark as night. Two more figures emerged from the flames, both wielding weapons. We must kill him. Orders from the king himself. I fell to the ground, trying to scramble back from the men. But he's just a small boy. Maybe we could dash. We are not taking a human boy to Elderved. He could endanger us all if we did. The man who had spoken up, with long black hair and a bow strung at his side, looked at me with defiance. I will raise him then. If he can learn the ways of the elves, then we can learn to get along with them as well. The man with white hair sighed and sheathed his sword on his back. Very well. But you must get him there on your own accord. I will have nothing to do with this disgusting human. The man said, spitting on the ground in front of me. The black-haired man dipped his head, exchanging a look of quiet understanding from the other man, who had long, white hair and held a sheathed dagger. Then the two white-haired men backed up and turned away, vanishing in the smoke. I scrambled up and started to back away from the remaining man, my eyes wide with terror. The man dropped his bow and came forward, holding out his hands. I'm not going to hurt you, the man said, reaching out a smooth, pale hand. I looked at it for a long few minutes, but it didn't move. Please come with me. I will take care of you now. I looked up at the man's face, staring into his kind blue eyes. Then I took it, and that's all I remember. I woke up with a gasp, sitting up and sighing when I realized it had been a dream. Well, more of a memory. I lived with the elves now. Actually, more of their captive. You may be asking yourself, why am I their prisoner when I was literally adopted by an elf? That's because Leffels died right after he took me to his home, therefore I had no defender on my behalf, simply because no one trusted me or showed me sympathy. I got off the huge tree stump I called a bed and walked over to the bars that served as the obstacle between me and the outside world. I didn't even know that much about humans or their history, even when I was one myself. I also didn't know why they had wanted to kill me specifically, and how Leffels convinced them otherwise. It was silent and motionless on the other side, the palace wasn't too busy today. I glanced down and saw that my food wasn't there. Late again. I sat down, my head pushing against the strangely strong vines that were bars. Another day to myself. Another day to try to remember what I had done wrong, to try to figure out why I was here, in this cage, when I was only 14 years of age and had been living here for about 8 years. Suddenly, someone spoke. You know, you could go to the council for this if you want. I whipped my head up and saw Arise standing in front me, her long black hair falling down over her shoulders and her hands on her hips. I sighed. Sure, if I was an elf. Which I'm not. Arise smiled and took her hands off her hips. Well, you are. I scowled at her. It's not working, I know I'm human, not an elf. Arise crouched down to where she was face to face with me. I need to show you something. Follow me. Arise stood up, brushing off her synthetic black pants. I stood up too, but I was helpless to following her because I was in this stupid cell. How? Arise held up one finger to silence me. Guards. I've been instructed by the high priest to take this boy to start his work. Guards, with their shining silver and gold armor, appeared on the other side. The king has instructed to keep him here. Arise glared at them. I am sure King Zendal would understand. We need to put this boy to more use. The guards hesitated, but eventually they touched the spot I could not reach to open the door. Just don't let him get away, will you? Arise nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. Then she grabbed my arm and yanked me after her. This was my first time I could remember after the fire being out of a cage. We arrived at a door, my eyes wide, when she finally let me go. Go in there. You'll find all the answers you seek. I looked at her cautiously, then stepped forward lightly and pushed the door open. It was dark, and I could hear a sort of hovering inside. Then I felt a Reese shove me in, and the door slammed shut behind me. I yelped and turned around to bang my fists on the door. Had she betrayed me? Then I felt a liquid pool around my ankles, then my knees, my waist. I yelled again, terror flooding through me. I can't move my legs. I can't mo dash. And then I went completely under. Welcome, Your Majesty. What? Who's Your Majesty? You are, Your Majesty. Where am I? You are inside the system, Your Majesty. You are being given your mark, making you an official noble. I gulped and swirled around in the darkness. Am I asleep? There was silence, and I was worried the voice had gone. Yes. But be glad you are, because if you were awake you would be screaming in pain. I forced a laugh. Wait, you're serious? Yes. Quite. I closed my eyes for a moment, then opened them again. Who are you? I am the system, specifically the part designed to calm people when they receive marks or medals. Then? Who am I really? This time, I didn't receive an immediate response. You are the son of His Majesty's finest, the brother of the king himself, Prince Vedner.